How's it going, everybody? We have our new series that I've been working on, and we have the first video for that series. In this video, we're going to be discussing the Marvel lore of the team, going into the Marvel Strike Force lore, how it kind of shifted over into the video game, and then we're going to look at how to build the team, who to focus on, T-Force, ISOs, and where can this team actually shine. Let me know in the comments if you do like this video. Let me know what other teams you actually want me to do as well. Now, right now, we are going to be focusing on the Orchis team. They're one of the newest teams in Marvel Strike Force, and this is one of the most dangerous organizations in Marvel Comics. They tie directly into the Days of Future Past storyline, which you might have heard of. They've done several movie adaptations of this. They've done the X-Men cartoon, the comic books. It's a very popular and well-represented storyline in Marvel itself, which is why they've made so many adaptations of this. We're going to be discussing the rise of the Orchis team, as well as the threat level to mutant kind and how this connection to building Sentinels came to be about. Let's start off with the basics though. Orchis was introduced in the series of House of X and Powers of 10 written by Jonathan Hickman. Now, if you ever see a comic book and it has Jonathan Hickman's name on it, definitely pick it up. He's one of the best comic book writers that we have today, and everything he touches is gold. He always has a great overarching storyline as far as starting at point A, get into point B, and he likes to lay little breadcrumbs for you to kind of get there. He's a fantastic writer, so definitely pick up anything that he writes. Now, Orchis isn't your average villain group. It's made up of former agents from S.H.I.E.L.D., AIM, Hydra, and other organizations. Their goal is to stop the rise of mutants by any means necessary. With mutants now forming their own nation of Krakoa and advancing in ways that scare humanity, like using resurrection and achieving near immortality, Orchis sees them as an existential threat. In response, they've created Project Orchis. They pull the resources together from other groups to develop massive anti-mutant initiative, which includes reviving one of the X-Men's deadliest threats, which are the Sentinels. Let's talk about the Sentinels. These are the robot hunters that's designed to track and eliminate the mutants. Over time, we've seen several iterations, from early Mark I Sentinels, which were pretty clunky, but they were effective robots. These were created by Bolivar Trask. Now we're all the way up to the deadly advanced Mark VI, which can adapt in real time during battle. But the story doesn't end there. We also have humans forcibly turned into cyborgs to hunt these mutants. Karima Sharpenter is a well-known example of a once human, now relentless killing machine. Orchis uses these hybrid beings as a part of their plan. They blend human ingenuity with the machine precisions. And finally, we have the ultimate Sentinel, which is the Nimrod. This was introduced in Days of Future Past. Nimrod is an unstoppable, adaptive mutant killing machine. It can evolve in real time, making it nearly impossible for mutants to defeat this thing. In House of X, Powers of 10, Orchis is working to bring Nimrod back, seeing it as their greatest weapon to wipe out the mutants once and for all. Now, how does all of this connect to the Days of Future Past storyline? In the storyline, we see a dark future where Sentinels have taken over. Mutants are either killed off or they're imprisoned in camps. Even humans who side with the mutants are targeted by these Sentinels. And what's the pivotal event that leads to this dystopia future? There's an assassination attempt where Mystique and her Brotherhood of Evil Mutants assassinate Senator Robert Kelly. He's a politician advocating for mutant control. In this assassination attempt, that basically triggers the creation of the Sentinels, which eventually spiral out of control and leads to a world where machines dominate humanity. Nimrod is the culmination of the Sentinel evolution. He is an embodiment of the nightmare future from the Days of Future Past. Orchis is laying the groundwork for that same dystopian future, creating a massive threat to mutant kind and setting the stage for a potential repeat of history. Now, if you're wanting to explore more about Orchis, the Sentinels, and the X-Men's struggles, some of the reading recommendation that I can give you would be the House of X and Powers of 10. This was written by Jonathan Hickman, as I mentioned earlier. This is where Orchis is first introduced. It's a revolutionary moment for the X-Men. It's essential reading if you want to kind of understand what's currently going on in the comics for that. Another one I would recommend is going to be the Days of Future Past. This was written by Chris Claremont. He's kind of the one that got the X-Men back on the map after their initial run. The illustrations by John Byrne, who is amazing. This is some of the best artwork you're going to see, besides like Jim Lee X-Men that you might be familiar with. And in Days of Future Past, it's basically the dystopia future that we're talking about, where Sentinels have taken over, they've killed several mutants, and imprisoned many of them as well. Another one I would recommend is going to be X-Men God Loves, Man Kills. This is also by Chris Claremont. It's a graphic novel that explores the themes of fear, hatred, intolerance towards mutants. While it doesn't directly involve Orchis, it does capture the broader conflict between mutants and those who fear them. So, in regards to Marvel Strikers, they've kept a lot of the same elements that we see in the comics and what we just went over today. One of the big differences is going to be how Lady Deathstrike is involved with the Orchis team. Now, why would she be involved with this? Lady Deathstrike is a part of the Reavers team. This is a private military organization. They were created by the Hellfire Club and also funded by them as well. The Reavers are cybernetically enhanced into cyborg enforcers, so it really does fit perfectly into why she would be involved with the Orchis team. So I do like that they were able to add her in there. She's also a fantastic character in the Marvel Strike Force game. Now let's go ahead and move into how we want to build this team, who to focus on, what T4s, ISOs, and where can you use this team in Marvel Strike Force. So we're going to talk about the two reworks first. The first one's going to be Lady Deathstrike. As far as T4 priority, I would do her ultimate first, followed by the special and the passive. Now, you can do the basic if you want to. I did all 4 of her T4s. She just hits so hard with that rework that she received. As far as ISOs go, you can go with a Striker or a Raider. Before the full team came out, I was using a Raider. However, since then, I switched her over to a Striker. That way, can really take advantage of the damage output that she can do. As far as Scientist Supreme, I would do her passive. That is a must. The speed boost that she ends up getting to the team because of how that passive works, it's pretty much an essential. You have to do that one. The ultimate, I would classify that as a very high value to essential as well. The special is a high value to where you can definitely do that one. The basic you really don't need to do for her. As far as ISOs go on her, I have been using the healer ISO on her. You could go with the skirmisher if you want, but I find that healer works best for her. For the next character, we're going to discuss Nimrod. The passive and special are going to be essential for him as far as what he can do. The ultimate is very close to being essential because of how it works in raids, and then the basic as well. As far as ISOs for Nimrod, definitely go with the Raider. He does a lot of AoE attacks. His special is a very short cooldown, so you can really take advantage of getting the vulnerables out there. That way, Lady Deathstrike can really take advantage of those ISO hits. Next up is going to be Omega Sentinel. The ultimate and passive are going to be essential for you. You definitely want to grab those two. The special has a very, very high, almost essential feeling of ISO that you want to grab for her, or T4 that you want to grab for her. The basic you could grab if you want, just for the little bit of extra boost that she can give. As far as ISO on her, you can either go with a Raider or a healer. I was using healers to try to make sure the team stayed alive at low star levels. Since then, I have switched her over to a Raider. She does a lot of big hits. The passive, doing the out of turn damage, has chances to crit. So that's why I went with Raider on her. And for the last member, we're going to look at the Sentinel. The passive and ultimate, the basic is almost going to be essential, but passive and ultimate is definitely essential. Basic, how he gets the counters out there, I believe for 2 turns, that's close to being essential. It's definitely worth grabbing. The special is also a very high value, so definitely look to do that. So overall, the team is a high T4 priority. You won't regret it at all for what the team can do. As far as ISOs go for Sentinel, I do feel at low star level to use the Fortifier on him just to get that extra barrier. Every time he dies, comes back, he's going to come back with the barrier as well. Chances to heal off of it. Once you get enough star levels on him, I would switch him over to a Striker. That way, anytime he hits into those vulnerable targets, he's going to be pumping out more counterattacks. That way you can do a lot of out-of-turn damage to the opponents. So where can you actually use this Orchis team? They're more than a raid team. For how good they are, the extra stat boost that they've been given due to that new meta stats, it puts them at a high value. You can use this team currently on defense in Alliance War. People have been using Mephisto with them. You can plug Super Scroll in with them as well. Same with Cosmic Crucible. I've been using them on defense with Super Scroll. You can take out certain members of the team. Omega Sentinel, once she gets bigger stars, you definitely want to keep her. As far as Sentinel goes, he's probably going to be the first one you're going to pull out for now, because his bots that he summons in are going to be a liability for the team itself. It leaves them open to counters of new warriors and hive mind, because you can feed off the bots, get the extra turn meter with hive mind or the extra pings with the new warriors team. Once you get them a whole lot bigger though, they're going to be a lot more difficult to take out. The team is modular to where you can take out certain members, plug in other ones, and it really boosts the value of the team. So I would put this as a top 5 team right now that's going to be surviving for quite some time, especially in Alliance War. Alliance War has a lot of longevity to where they last a whole lot longer than other teams. So definitely invest in the team. Don't feel guilty about putting those T4s in it, because this will last you for such a long time. If you did enjoy this, please remember to give it a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.